Nhưng mà mấy cô ngại mấy bà ơi.
Chuyện tụi tôi nè. Chuyện tụi tôi quên bài. Tự nhiên cứ quên bài đấy. Có lần nãy cứ quên bài như má.
Ê, đó là những cái cảnh mà ngày mai. Nơi của chị.
Chị vô bạn ơi cái bạn đấy. Chị nói chắc.
Thử.
Dạ. Rồi chưa? 1, 2, 3. Đi chưa?
Mày múa hả? Chị nhỉ nghe ngại.
Hello, good afternoon, the evaluation committee and everyone. Welcome to our presentation today. We are truly honored to be here to present our topic. And our group consists of Tiểu Yến, Thanh Tuyền, Quốc Em, Anh Thư, and me, Trọng Khang. Under supervision of Ms. Lê Cảnh Đức Thơ, we would like to thank to our supervisor and the committee to giving us this opportunity. And now we would like to begin our presentation with Anh Thư.
Vietnam seafood industry is an important part of the national economy. It has been GDP, region for people in cultural area, and support rural development. However, the business performance is still not stable because many challenges, such as global competition, climate change, and the effect of COVID-19 pandemic. This change export revenue during the past 3 years showed instability. In 2021, export revenue was $8.89 billion USD, up 5.7% from the year before. In 2022, export revenue went up strongly $11 billion USD, a rise of 33.8%. But in 2023, export revenue fell to $9.2 billion USD, a drop of 90%. This change shows that seafood companies need better understand the factors that affect their performance so they can improve their competitiveness and grow in a sustainable way. The EVFTA has revenue opportunity by reducing tariff and raising standards, routine enterprise to upgrade their operation. Therefore, this study understands both financial and international factors to support the general role of seafood enterprise in Vietnam. After that, I move on to the research objective with the two main part. Now I will talk about overall objective. It identifies rival performance, evaluate their impact, and propose solutions to improve efficiency, boost competitive, and support sustainable development in the dynamic market. The following part outlines the specific objective. Objective 1, analyzing the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam through financial indicators, return on assets, return on equity, and return on sales. Objective 2, identify factors affecting business performance and measure the level of these effects. Objective 3, proposing practical solutions to enhance business performance of seafood enterprise in the context of intensive competition and market fluctuation. After that, this session and research questions will be presented by women.
Beyond the basic objective, next we present research question. Question 1, what's the current performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 2, what's factor affecting the business of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 3, how are they loosely related to the business seafood performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam? Question 4, what must seafood enterprise take to improve their business performance in a highly competitive seafood industry? And after that, this session, I will talk about the research scope. The study focused on analyzing factors affecting the business performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam, specifically to risk on the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange, Hanoi Stock Exchange, and on the public company market. The research period from 2018 to 2024 ensure currency and comprehensive relation of economic development during this time frame. And this is the text structure we will write in 5 chapters. And as about the chapter 2 literature review
quantitative results and comparison between companies, while non-financial indicator is more difficult to measure. And these indicators, including return on asset, return on equity, and return on sales, it usually shows the profitability and efficiency in the improved operating efficiency and cost control, especially in the seafood industry where the input costing often and the profit margin usually low. So it's playing an important role in helping companies to manage their ability to adapt to market conditions. And this is the formula of 3 indicators that we use in this study. And about the situation of Vietnamese enterprises in recent years, from 2020 to 2022, many Vietnamese businesses has a very hard time because of COVID-19, high inflation, and many problems in the world economy. In 2021, we have 119,000 companies had to stop working, and this is a higher number in 10 years. And in 2022, when the economy starts to get better, many people open business again. But we still have 143,200 business had to stop working. It's increasing to about 38.8% in 2021, and this shows that many Vietnamese businesses, especially small ones, they were not strong and stable enough to survive, and they need more support to develop stronger. And about the characteristics of Vietnamese seafood industry is will be presented by Ogen.
The next part, the characteristics of Vietnam seafood industry. Let's begin with structure of capture in our culture fish production in Vietnam from 2004 to 2023. From 2004 to 2023, Vietnam shipped shortly production from capture fish to our culture. Our culture went from 1.22 to 5.5 million tons, nearly 60% of our wood oil capture will modestly. The 61 capture resource and greater challenge and advantage intensive high-tech company for export markets. And move on to Vietnam seafood product value and growth rate from 2004 to 2023. Vietnam seafood increased from 2.4 billion in 2004 to 10.9 billion in 2022, but saw major drop in 2008 to 2009, 2014 to 2015, and 2023 due to rising currency volatility and weak demand. And about the Vietnam seafood import market structure in 2024. In 2024, among the top markets, China and Hong Kong, United States, and Japan to remain a largest important of Vietnam seafood in 2024, as contributing significantly to total export value and other country another important market for seafood industry. And lastly, Vietnam seafood product structure in 2024 and in 2024 Vietnam seafood import structure is by less spring back at 39%, while by high value and demand in the EU, US, and Japan. The pro-biogas at 20%, large scale farming and cost advantage, and other seafood product at 22% relative tower diversification. About the review of part study, I would like to invite the present.
And now we'll talk about the reviews of previous study. Many previous studies consider how financial factor and macroeconomic factor can affect on business performance. Firstly, by Memo 2022, they studied 20 seafood enterprise from 2016 to 2020, and they found that capital structure have a negative effect on return on asset and return on equity, while firm size and short-term liquidity have a positive effect. And another one in 2025, they also show that the size and revenue growth can have improved business performance, and they say that the liquidity play an important role in helping companies to maintain their solvency and take investment opportunity. And for macroeconomic factor, the Memo 2024 found that GDP, population, and inflation in the import country can affect on Vietnam seafood export for the long term. And they also say that the political problem can affect on the export performance of seafood enterprise in Vietnam. And finally, in June 2022, also found that the free trade agreement like EFTA or CPTPP can affect on business performance. About the recent gap, firstly, definitions in measurement indicator. Many reasons say usually use return on asset or return on equity to measure business performance, but return on sales is another very important indicator for business, especially for the seafood industry, but it hasn't been studied much. And secondly, about the lack of indirect model between financial factor and macroeconomic factor. Most existing studies analyze the financial factor and macroeconomic factors separately, and it leading to one-side views, and it doesn't fully the complex effects on business performance. Lastly, about the data eliminations. Many research still use the data before 2020, and they often include a new situation, like the influence of free trade agreement like the FTA from 2018 to 2024. And about the framework and hypothesis used in this study, it will be presented by Louis.
I will present detail about factor affecting risk. I will continue about present theoretical framework and hypothesis about factor affecting business performance. On the variable, except for leverage and inflation, are expected to have a positive impact on business performance. Now let's start with the first variable, which is the enterprise. Non-established companies often have more experience and better financial control, which help improve the fiscality. This is the formula for calculating the enterprise. Moving on, the second variable, enterprise size. Large company benefit from size in market share, cost control, and resources, leading to higher profit and work efficiency. The third variable is liquidity. Company with good liquidity ensure stable cash flow and reduce the risk of insolvency. Next is leverage. This is the third variable expected to have a negative impact where managed leverage can reduce taxes. However, in difficult business conditions, high leverage increase interest expense and the risk of insolvency. This is the formula for calculating financial leverage. And capital structure will be the fifth variable. Using short-term and long-term debt wisely can reduce capital costs and improve how the company uses assets. This includes three indicators. Following that is fixed asset structure. It shows the level of long-term investment. Fixed assets help in securing loan, improving productivity, and increasing business value. This is the formula for calculating fixed asset structure. We also consider revenue growth. It shows the ability to attract investment, expand market, use resources efficiency, and benefit from trade agreement. On the macro side, we have just domestic product. GDP shows the development of the economy and business environment. When GDP grows steadily, company can expand production, access credit more easily, and benefit from consumer confidence. Another macro variable is election rate. This is the second variable expected to have a negative impact when election makes prices rise and money loses value. When election rises, input costs and raw material, wage and interest rate will risen, especially for the company who are margin or import independent. And the last variable is European Union Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. EFTA offers export opportunity to global topic. However, non-topic periods such as traceability and the IUU yellow cards will challenge. The research model shows the link between internal financial factor, macroeconomic variable, and business performance, forming the basic for meta, data, and testing in the next session. I would like to invite all of you to continue about research design.
And the final chapter, I would like to talk about the research design. And for my August 2025, the research will be carried out 8 main steps. Step 1, define the research problem, objective, and research version. Step 2, literature review. Step 3, develop the framework. Step 4, identify the methodology and type data. Step 5, data collection. Step 6, data analysis. And step 7, main finding and discussion and generate insight and conclusion. And lastly, step 8, research
Firstly, overview the boundaries of methodology. Panel data applied in this study is comprised of time series and cross-sectional data, and we consider three types of panel data, including the pool OLS, the fixed effect model, and the random effects model. As we make the comparison between them to select the most suitable panel data model for the variable. Firstly, we're selecting between the pool OLS and fixed effect model, and the f-tests are applied to choosing between both of them. And if the p-values of f-test less than 5%, selecting the fixed effect model. And other ways we continue to select between the pool OLS and random effect model. And by f-test, and if the p-values of f-test less than 5%, selecting the random effects model. And other ways we can conclude that the pool OLS will be more appropriate. And finally, selecting between frame and range by Hausman test, and if the p-values of Hausman test less than 5%, selecting the fixed effect model. And other way you can conclude that random effects model is more appropriate. And about FGLS, physical general analysis, where it will be applied if the model have any diagnostic. And I will show you in detail at the following part. In this part, I will present some regression diagnostic for panel data model. It's including multicollinearity, heteropaedicity, and autocorrelation. About multicollinearity, it can be checked by the variant inflation factor test, and if the VAF indicator greater than 10, it presents observed multicollinearity. And in this case, we can remove the variable, combine them, or change the data. And about heteropaedicity, heteropaedicity can be checked by the modified word test for frames and the error test for both of the pool OLS and frame. And if the p-values of the test less than 5%, it presents a heteropaedicity. And in this case, we can using the FGLS or progress data error to fix the problem. And lastly, about autocorrelation. Autocorrelation can be checked by the word stat for both the frame and range. And if the p-value less than 0.05, it presents the first order autocorrelation. And in this case, we can also using the FGLS and progress data error to fix the problem. And about the data used for this study, the data used in this study from 31 SQL enterprises on Hanoi Stock Exchange, Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange, and a list public company market from 2018 to 2024 with 217 observations. And the data come from the auditor's financial statement. And after cleaning the data, only a company with full information will be retained. And the analysis was done in the SATA version 17, and it using multiple linear regression to analyze the relationship of the variable. And today is a sample of auditor's financial statement that we use in this study. And today, three regression equations in detail of three dependent variables that we use. And about the main findings, this will be presented by Patrick.
Now, so let's move on to the four questions on key evidence of the study. First, I would like to talk about descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics provide an essential overview of the dataset and help iterate the result in later stages. And let's talk about descriptive statistics are very independent variable in the research model. Descriptive statistics table show the difference among simple interline in terms of size, strategy, and risk level. Among analyzed variables, some factors have very volatility, especially revenue growth and financial leverage. Sudden weak revenue growth, the average is 7.41%, but volatility is extremely high, minus 96.86% to 700.14%. This shows that business performance is very unstable due to many changes, logistics cost and global trade, and small financial leverage. The average is 3.12, but with variation ranging from 0.03 to 132.45. This means interline have very different depth strategy. Some borrow a lateral class while others use depth carefully. And base for A, the average is 31.65 years from 11 to 65. This shows that they are young companies that are more flexible and other ones with more experience and stronger in the market. And the last one about China. The average is 13.52, ranging from 9.2 to 16.9, indicating that both listed seafood interact are medium to large scale with variation at the same mode. In summary, the remaining variable generally exceeded reasonable without any extreme outliers, although they are not statistically dominant in reduced analysis. They play an important role in the regression analysis. Resent in the following chapter, so next this fact invite until to resent dependent variable. Based on the residual statistic of the dependent variable used in the research model, the first return on assets based on the residual statistic of the return on assets average minus 0.169. It solely making from capital to generate profit from asset. Value range from minus 10.49 to 1.739. Mainly due to rising cost with export demand and broad financial management. In the second return on equity, looking at equity performance, return on equity is positive at 0.171, indicating many firms can profit from equity despite low return on asset. The wide range from minus 2.77 to 6.625. Relative difference in capital efficiency, rural financial management and cost control. And the last return on sales, in terms of sales profitability, return on sales average minus 0.173. So we let people take return profit from equity from sales, revenue from sales. The law of variation minus 6.974 to 1.922. So with an efficient in cost structure and mid-time competition, input cost and market volatility, conclusion, descriptive analysis highlighting major show an efficient in the financial structure, round capacity and profitability among seafood firms from 2018 to 2024. Most rely heavily on short-term debt and liquidity risk. GDP and inflation remain stable. EVFTA signed a new export opportunity. Return on assets and return on sales are generally low, but return on equity is positive, relate an even performance. This finding form the basis for deeper recent analysis. Let's move on to continuing presentation the next session. Next, I will present the trend of key indicators: return on assets, return on sales, and return on equity of four major companies during period 2018 to 2024. Among 31 listed seafood interact, we selected 4 listing exporters such as NBC, VSC, AGF, and CMS. Stay on 2024 list by Ministry of Industry and Trade and Investment. They are stock company in the industries with similar ratio in growth, asset yield, and return on equity during global trade growth. Let's start with NBC. Meaningful Seafood Corporations was stable from 2018 to 2022, but in 2023, return on asset, return on equity, return on sales turned negative from high cost for demand and COVID-19. In 2024, they stay negative, so the company had not recovered. And next week is the Corporation. The highlight is this that in 2018 to 2019, both were in 2020 when return on asset, return on equity, and return on sales dropped a lot. When 2024, it recovered a little, but performance was still not stable. And about moving to HGF, and then Fisher report against Fortune stock company was lowest in 2019, which are negative, especially return on equity. In 2020, return on equity showed both return on asset and return on sales turned negative. And later, we saw were more stable but still low. And the last one about CMA, can we make group GSC in 2018 has the best performance with high return on asset, return on sales, especially return on equity. From 2019 to 2024, they dropped and stayed low, showing along this line with downfield recover. So next part invite Trọng Khang to present regression result.
And I will talk about the analysis of factors affecting composite performance. Firstly, we need to select the appropriate model, setting the result for about -0.07 and high statistical significance with p-value equal 0, and it showed that the larger, higher depth can reduce business performance of seafood enterprise, especially in the Vietnam seafood industry with the high input costs and market risk and its market operation. And it support the hypothesis number 4 and show the debt management capability. In sponsor, looking at the GDP growth have a positive and significant impact on return on assets with coefficients about 0.019 and p-value at 0.002. And it support the hypothesis number 8. It say that the stable economy can have the seafood industry by increasing the demand, improving the access to capital, and creating a better business equation. And in terms of internal factor about company size have a positive effect on return on assets with coefficients about 0.035, and it supports the hypothesis number 2. It say that the larger seafood enterprise tend to perform better in financial, maybe because they can benefit from the economy of scale. And lastly, about revenue growth, however, it has a negative effect on return on assets with coefficients about -0.002. And it rejects the hypothesis number 7. They say that sales grow without cost control or efficient in access use, it can lead to lower in profitability of seafood enterprise. And about the regression result for return on equity, I would like to find you to present.
I will present detail about factor affecting return on equity. The reduction result for CO2 some connect to equity is a negative and highly significant effect at the 1% level, not supporting hypothesis 5. How we some connect very strict and catastrophic non-cycle seafood reduction. Similarly, CO3 long connect to total asset. It had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, again not supporting hypothesis 5. Inefficient use of long-term debt can lower asset efficiency and increase financial risk. On the other hand, CO1 long-term debt to equity is had a positive and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 5. Good yield of long-term debt have impact reducing export and improve overall performance. Turning to the leverage, it had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 4. High revenue reduce profitability in the seafood industry with low margin and unstable cash flow. Moving on the liquidity, it had a negative and significant effect at the 5% level, contradicting hypothesis 3. In the seafood industry, holding too much cash and inventory ties up capital and reduce profit. Regarding revenue growth, it had a positive and significant effect at the 5% level, supporting hypothesis 7. High revenue help use capital better with good supply control, expand stable export contract and high volume purchasing. Meanwhile, in FTA, it had a negative effect at the 10% level, opposite to the hypothesis 10. This is due to high compliance costs, COVID-19 import and trade EU standard. And the last part is about factor affecting return on sale. I would like to invite you to continue. Next, I will discuss factor affecting return on sale in detail. Regarding liquidity, is positively internationally affect return on sale with coefficient equal 0.036, with value less than 5%, having from mainly source of risk and source of margin supporting hypothesis 4. And in terms of financial leverage, it negatively affect return on sale with coefficient equal -0.02, with value less than 1%. Indicating that highly reduced profitability through interest burden and financial risk supporting hypothesis 4. And with respect to fixed expenditure, it negatively affect return on sale with coefficient equal -0.787, with value less than 5%. A high fixed investment can cut growth risk because of depreciation and maintenance costs, confirming hypothesis 6. And examining growth strategy, revenue 0 is negatively effect return on sale with coefficient equal minus 0.005 with b value less than 5%. Meaning sale with the cost control may have profitability, rejecting hypothesis 7. In the last one about GDP, is positively effect return on sale with coefficient equal 0.03 with b value less than 10%. Improving demand and export performance supporting hypothesis 8. And in conclusion, we recently show that business performance of seafood industry in Vietnam is affected by many internal and economic factors. The impact is different for each indicator: return on asset, return on share, and return on equity. They are important for ranking recommendation in classify to help business performance into the changing and challenging environment. So next, involve interesting certify.
And the final our thesis certified solution and recommendation. About solution, I would like to talk about the key finding. Our research suggests financial leverage has negative impact return on asset, return on sale, and return on equity, indicating that high debt, short-term review efficiency in the low margin and high-risk industry. Repeating rule also negative impact return on asset and return on sale, suggesting that several without cost control do not improve profitability. And in contrast, Fomsai and TV has positive factor, leverage advantage cost and stable macroeconomic environment. Variables such as IUVC, fixed asset structure, capital structure has no building back. EPFJ has yet to show significant short-term due to compliance challenge and COVID-19 to this whole long-term potential. And next, about the recommendation, I would like to invite into research.
Based on the research, soon after I will present recommendation in the treatment part, recommendation for seafood and rice, recommendation for women authority, and recommendation for stakeholder internet. Now I will talk about recommendation for seafood and rice. The first, efficient assets and capital management. Enterprises should prioritize improve the efficiency of existing assets before expanding scale in order to avoid capital investment. When financial capacity is insufficient, it's necessary to reduce financial leverage ratio, especially on short-term debt, by generating equity and managing capital more effectively. The second, sustainable growth and broader development is advisable to shift from export raw material to value-added products, while only combined with cost control. The utilization of EVFTA should be accompanied by long-term investment in traceability system and food chain infrastructure. And the last, digital and AI adoption. Enterprises should promote digital transformation, apply AI operation management, quality control, and data analysis. Following that, I will talk about recommendation for Roman authority. The first, economic stability. Roman should maintain macroeconomic environment control in nation in order to facilitate production and export activity. The second, long-term credit. Asset long-term credit to expand rural public for the characteristics of the seafood sector, combined with support credit guarantee fund and SME development. And the third, EVFTA support. To effective leverage EVFTA should be accompanied with technical support, training, and provide cost subsidies so that enterprises can meet EU standards. And after that, I move on to the recommendation for stakeholder and financial institutions. The first, revise lending policy. Credit institutions should revise lending policy forward to support long-term investment instead of focus too much on short-term debt. And the second, bank advisory and supervision. Bank should act as financial advisor, require enterprise to prepare capital plan and capital usage report. And the last, investor and associate support. Stakeholder and investor should monitor company financial trajectory, and industry association should work with government agency to provide training on financial planning and internal credit evaluation.
And this is